the recording going as well once the live stream is up. Last week, but gotta do what we gotta do. All right. Live stream is up. Starting the recording now. So good evening, everyone. My name is Vinny Diamato, Chairman of the BU Student Government Senate. Today is March 15, 2021, and this is the 18th meeting of the Student Government Senate. As always, starting off with roll call, and just a reminder for this week's icebreaker question, we're going to be doing if you had to sing karaoke, which I know is not everyone's favorite, but just go along, please. Which song would you pick and why? So to answer this question, we're going to have Bella Noel, Shahaf Dan, Cassie Balboa, John Michael Aracena, and Celine Machin. So when I call on you guys, when going through roll call, just speak up, as we always have done. All right, so starting off, as always, Savannah Majarwicz.
Here.
Evan Teplinski.
Here.
Achilles Stone.
Here.
Bella Noel.
I'm here, and I cannot sing, so I love for karaoke a sing talking song where it's more just talking to a beat. So go-to is probably Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado, especially when you've got a good person to go back and forth with. That is a high tier karaoke song always.
I've never seen anyone do karaoke with that song. I want to see someone do that eventually, one day. But awesome. All right, Dhruv Kapadia.
Here.
Proxy for Hassan Farouki.
Here.
Janez James.
Here.
Jessica Zhang.
Here.
Spencer Kwan.
Here.
Lauren Hagee.
Here.
Navia Kuturu.
Here.
Shahaf Dan.
Here. And I don't know why, but recently I just can't get Tyler Hero out of my head. It's just been playing back and forth.
Which one?
Tyler Hero.
Don't know that one. Can you send me the link?
I will. You got it.
Okay, awesome. I want to listen to that. All right. Continuing on. Sui Muowo.
Here.
Vivian Dai.
Here.
Sum Yu Guan. Senator Guan. I know you're here. All right. Brandon Yu.
Here.
Richard Siegelman.
Here.
William Harrison.
Here.
Amanda Schneider.
Here.
Olivia Herr.
Here.
Sophie Jin.
Here.
Owen Kelly.
Here.
Maha Noor.
Here.
Shireen Bakray.
Here.
Cassidy Balboa.
Here, and I would say the iCarly theme song. I would absolutely body it.
I 100% support that. That is amazing. Beautiful show. Joanna Shie.
Here.
Noah Greif.
Here.
Amy Luo.
Here.
Michael Leone.
Here.
Jaylene Ramirez.
Here.
Selena Chen.
Here.
Matali Keslawal.
Here.
Jay Helgen.
Here.
Brianna Cole. Senator Cole. Mehar Hora.
Here.
John Michael Aracena.
Here, and I do firmly believe that the best karaoke song is strongly dependent on who you're with. That being said, I think what the best song would be for most people would probably be Dear Maria Count Me In by All Time Low. Oh yeah,
that is a beautiful song. I am so glad you said that.
it really is. Thank you.
You're welcome. Isabella Townsend.
Present.
Samantha Casas.
Present.
Celine Machin.
Here, and I'd sing something like Don't Stop Believing or Come On Eileen or any song that gets the crowd excited because they could drown out my bad singing.
As someone who has sung Don't Stop Believing before at a karaoke bar, I agree with that. Jana Evans.
Here.
Keely Massini is here, but her microphone is not working right now. And Juliana Torres.
Here.
All right. So with that, we have 41 people today. So that puts us at 28 votes for a supermajority, 21 votes for a simple majority. Let me just note that down. All right. All right, so going over the agenda for today, we have the president's address followed by cabinet updates. Following that, we have the MHC co-chair confirmation and then presenting Senate amending Bill 002, which as a reminder for everyone cannot be voted on today because its amendment has to have that 1 week waiting period. And as always, we close out with open forum. So, Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Just a couple updates on my end, not too much. Victoria and I will be presenting next week on Greek life updates. Vinny, expect our email at the end of this week. The ACSRI will be having a listening session to solicit feedback from students about fossil fuel divestment and climate change concerns. All students should be receiving an email within the next couple of days as to date, time, Zoom link, etc. But that'll take place the week of 3/25, I think, that week. Next thing, Wellness Day Thursday. Please try to relax. That's the point of it. It's our first out of 2 wellness days this Thursday, so there should be no exams or anything. If your professor is putting an exam on that day, please notify them that they can't. Announcement dinners on March 26th. SEC is working with SAO on a hybrid event, which will be really cool to have some sort of in-person function there. More details should be coming by next Senate meeting. And then next thing, elections for new Senate chairs in less than a month. I know Vinny and Shashi have spoken about it, but I just wanted to put that on people's radars. If you're looking to run, definitely contact Vinny if you have any questions about it. I'm not the right person to answer those questions. And then lastly, a town hall is on March 16th. So that is tomorrow at 7 p.m. on AirMeet. The link is on bu.edu/election. Shashi can probably provide more details on that in open forum. But yeah, those are all the updates on my end. Does anybody have any questions?
Point of inquiry.
Yep, go for it.
Just to clarify, I don't know if Daniel's on this call or not, but the town hall is actually going to be taking place not this week, but I think SEC decided the date will be the 23rd so that it fits in better with all of the events surrounding the election. And because we want it to be, we also want to drive up energy for the election during the election period as well. But yeah, I'll talk more in open forum about that.
Yep, thank you. Does anybody have any other further questions? Cool. Vinny, back to you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. And as Oliver said, if any of you guys have any questions about what the process is like for running for Senate chair, duties, how's it like, please feel free to reach out, call, email, drop by my office hours. More than happy to talk with all of you guys about that. All right. So, cabinet updates. So you guys know the drill by this point. Directors, please, 2 to 3 minutes in general for your updates. And then we'll do all the questions at the end. So I believe Director Bott is not here today. He's going to be coming in next week, if I'm correct on that.
I am.
Here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, feel free to start us off.
Yeah. So essentially, I just have like a quick little blurb. I will be coming next week for sure. I just wanted to let everybody know that next week I'll be coming in and giving a presentation, or I guess sort of a report of results from like an academic, I guess, health report. I'm required to do it constitutionally. And so I was able to get some data on student academic, I guess, life and health from last semester through the provost office. So I'll be presenting on that and giving a more in-depth update on what my cabinet has been working on this semester. next week. So that is all my update. I'll give you guys more to talk about next week.
Thank you. Director Oberkville.
Hi, everyone. I'll give you a quick update of my department. I'm really excited because we're finally getting some stuff off the ground, gearing up for March or end of March, April. So the first thing that is actually going to come out tomorrow is Voter Tuesday. So that's basically going to be like a voter engagement campaign. It's going to be every 2 weeks covering a variety of topics such as the Electoral College, gerrymandering. And basically the focus of that is just to remind people that even though the presidential elections are over, it doesn't mean politics has ended, and it doesn't mean that we should become disengaged. So that will be up tomorrow, and it'll be every 2 weeks, just an educational voter campaign. And then the next thing that our department is doing is college convos, like we did last semester. This semester, we're calling the specific event Steps to College. It's going to be on April 1st from 7 to 8 p.m. I know last time we actually had a few senators as panelists, so I wanted to plug this event for you guys again to see if any senators would like to be panelists. So again, this event is April 1st from 7 to 8 p.m. The idea behind it is it's a really informal conversation between students in middle school and high school and BU students, asking any or answering any questions they have about the college application process, but also how, like, what their path was to college. And we're currently in the process of talking to BIG to try and involve not just BU students and BU panelists this time. So I'll have more information about that later on, but we're currently in talks with BIG to get them involved as well. And the last project is Alston Crawl, which I've talked to you guys about before. So we're kind of finalizing the details and we'll get really into the research this week. So it's going to be the 3rd week of April and kind of, gives Alston Crawl a tilt and, we'll approach Alston in a different way. And the idea behind it right now is we are going to be highlighting different businesses in Alston. And every single day we kind of want to do, at least for the social media campaign, a map of Alston. And, because we want to stick with the Alston Crawl theme of you're moving through the Alston neighborhood, starting one day, one business, highlighting them, and just try and get people to learn more about Alston, learn more about the small businesses in Alston, and get more involved. So those are the 3 big projects that we're working on this semester. And again, if anyone is interested in being a panelist for the Steps to College conversation, please send me an email. We're happy to have you. I loved having senators last time. It was such a great conversation, and I hope to have that again this semester. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Director Lee.
Hi. So I'll be giving several quick updates on some things that my department has been doing. So first off, our newsletter, we are going to be posting one this week. If any senators, whatever clubs you're involved in, or some initiatives that you do want to be highlighted in the newsletter, please feel free to send it my way, preferably by tomorrow if you guys have something to send, that is. And in terms of receptivity, it's been better than it has been last year, which is something that we're happy to see. And we have been trying to improve on the newsletter in terms of its design and the way that it looks and the way it's presented. But that is going to be a continued work in progress that we're trying to see. Because after right now, we're just keeping it pretty plain, so to not mess with too much of the actual content that we're presenting on it. As for the mental health blog, we will be getting the postings for the mental health blog up this Wednesday. So that's where we're planning to get it up, as well as kind of, I guess, not promotional, I would say, but more like to let people know that the mental health blog is a thing on our social media channels. As for our postings in social media, we are going to continue to have stuff coming up whenever some initiatives or some things that need to be highlighted comes up, election related stuff, and other initiatives that may come up during the time. We're just going to continue proceeding as we have, and as it has worked decently well in this for this current semester. For our Wikipedia page entry for student government, We're in the midst of gathering the information, doing the research for it, and starting our draft write-up for it. And we projected to be done sometime at the end of March, early April, to have it up before the end of this semester, end of, I guess, this current term for all of us here. And of course, for the website, I want to make sure that senators have the opportunity to put their last, I guess, imprint on the website before the end of this term. Something I would like is that I will be sending this information to Sashi at a later time, but I do want senators who have not had the chance to either update their stuff or some new senators that may have come in during this semester. I want to make sure that you guys are on the website before the end of this term so that you guys can have something on there on the website. But other than that, those are all my updates.
Thank you so much. Director Chinwala.
Hi, everyone. So some updates from the Department of Environmental Affairs. So the first thing is that we're still working on our ongoing compost initiative to hopefully collect food waste from people who live in apartments on campus or near campus. Still working on that. And then we are also planning to do a social media campaign about where our waste goes, kind of falling in line with BU's new zero waste plan that just came out. So talking about where our waste goes after it leaves our campus, and talking about like incineration, and how we can cut down on our waste, and how we can also help with the BU zero waste plan. And then we are also partnering with Northeastern to do a competition. If Dean B says it's okay with COVID, but we are going to be doing a clothing drive for local Boston organizations like homeless shelters and nonprofits. And it'll be a competition between Northeastern and BU to see who can get more clothes during the week. And then whoever wins will get a 20% discount to Flower Bakery for the following week. And then another thing is that we have Earth Day coming up in a little bit over a month. So we're already starting to plan for that. One thing, our big thing that we're planning on doing is hosting a art competition. So anything that is like spoken, written, painted, photographed, that has to do with Earth Day, sustainability, environmental justice, can be submitted to us, and we'll open the submissions sometime soon. And then we're going to award prizes and also hopefully exhibit it in some digital format. And the last thing is that we are also trying to collaborate with other environmental clubs, uplift what they're doing for Earth Day. And I was talking to someone from the Feast Committee. So if any of you are also a part of that and want to get in contact with me about like the 1 week for going vegetarian or vegan, we'd love to help you out with that. And that's all.
Thank you. Directors Aboud and Regal.
Yeah, so for the events department, we're currently working on 3 separate professional development nights, basically just throughout the remainder of the semester. And what that's going to look like is that we'll take likely upperclassmen students from all the colleges across campus that are in various like fields or pursuing different industries, whether it's like internships, things like that. And we'll do kind of like a networking session with them and make it a lot more intimate, because some of like the feedback that we've gotten from students who've attended some of our bigger events has been that it felt kind of lecture-esque. So it's difficult to remedy that over Zoom. So we're thinking of kind of capping the amount of attendees and making it more intimate, and allowing the students to really, have a conversation about their interests and what they like to pursue. And then we're also working with Red Bull and planning an esports gaming event at Balance Patch, which is like the gaming community over on Com Ave, which will be really cool. And we're partnering with BU Gaming Club and BU Super Smash Bros Club for that. And then we also have 2 mental health awareness events planned with 2 different speakers towards the end of March or early April and mid-April. Yeah.
Thank you. Director Unvari.
Hi, everybody. So we just wrapped up Senate Committee and cabinet staff for recruitment, which went really well. Also on that note, if any Senate members need people for committees, feel free to reach out to me over email, Slack, WhatsApp, etc. And then also right now we are working on recruitment for Senate Chair and Senate Vice Chair, Chief of Staff. So then coming up this semester, one of our biggest projects is we're working on an outward facing marketing strategy. Sorry, my phone just spazzed. So we're working on an outward facing marketing strategy. Obviously, we have such an amazing social media presence. Tink does an amazing job with internal communications. But what this marketing strategy is looking to do is to market us outward to the rest of the student body who is unfamiliar with student government. As an organization, we all know we do amazing things. We have so many great resources, but we need to figure out how to market that more out to the student body so people take advantage of our resources, because obviously we have so many great people involved already. We are doing great in that sense of recruitment versus getting people who are not necessarily interested in being in a position more involved in student government. And then on top of that, one project that I will be starting to work on, I think this coming week, I have a training for Giving Day, and I'm just going to be really encouraging you guys, members of student government and your communities, family, friends, etc., to be donating on Giving Day.
Thank you. And Vice President Joseph stepping in for Director Malhotra.
Absolutely. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are doing well. A few updates for you from the Social Advocacy Department. One is that we had African Diaspora Cultural Night just about 2 weeks ago, and it was a fairly successful event. I actually got to see a few StuGov members, so for those who I ran into there, thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. I hope you enjoyed the food as well. And that collaboration overall was fairly successful. And again, it is something we'll be continuing year after year. And we're currently in the process of receiving feedback from that event in the moment. Second is, as we plan for Underrepresented Students Week, I'm sure you guys have heard communication before that we are trying and working to, tailor this event specifically to individuals, but the overall premise of it is that it will be focused conversations on both the historic perspective of an underrepresented community here on BU's campus, as well as where students can go for resources or specific topic management, as well as students and as a student body, what should we do to move forward? We're inviting BU faculty as well as specific professors oriented on the topic, club leaders and club e-board execs into the conversation, as well as just anyone we see fit in the local Boston community. There's a form that I hope Vinny can drop in right now. If you guys have any suggestions specifically for this event in terms of what to do, what to focus on, things you want to help us out with, please fill it out. It can take a few seconds and it can take a lot longer if you're willing to put that extra effort and extra emphasis on the event. It would be much appreciated. If you want more help with either this specifically or anything cabinet related, feel free to always reach out to us. You can also come to our meetings anytime. We love seeing some people, at least I think Vinny and Shashi got to make it to one not too long ago, so that was a pleasure. And please hit me up anytime. You can reach me basically anyway, and if I miss the message, just hit me again. That's on me though. Much love.
All right, thank you all. I'm now going to open it up to a 10-minute Q&A session if anyone has any questions. Going once. Going twice. All right, and with that, I will elapse question and answer time. Thank you all so much for presenting today. As always, if any senators, anyone here have any questions for directors, their emails are listed in the slides for today. All right, moving on to the next point in the agenda. We have the confirmation of Hope Wei as candidate for MHC co-chair. So Ms. Wei, you will have 5 minutes to present, followed by a 10-minute Q&A session following. So whenever you are ready, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. Hi, sorry, my video is struggling. Hi, I'm Hope Wei. I'm a bio-CMG major with a philosophy minor, and I'm originally from Brookline, Massachusetts. I've been involved in MHC since freshman year because I'm very extremely passionate about mental health. I've grown up in a household where one of my parents suffers from a mental illness, and I've watched them struggle as I've grown up. One thing to know about me is that I am Chinese. So prior to my parents knowing about my mom's diagnosis, like our family didn't really understand what mental illness was. And I learned that that was because it's very stigmatized in general, but also very much so in Asian culture. And because of the way I grew up, I learned that I want to be able to educate people and tell people like just give people resources that they need to realize, for other people to realize, like, one, they're more than their illness, that their mental health matters, and there's no shame in getting help. It's not a life sentence, it's very treatable in a lot of cases, and it's not the end. And one of the reasons I got involved in the mental health committee is because I wanted to start like dialogue between students, faculty, and administration surrounding mental illness as well as mental health at BU. Some of the things we're working on at the committee, I'm hosting 2 different game nights on both of the wellness days from 7 to 9 p.m., where the Wellbeing Project was nice enough to provide us with gift cards as prizes for the events. We are having the game nights on wellness days to encourage people to relax, use this day not to just study and catch up on their work, but like actually as a wellness day to take care of their mental health. And we hope, like, because we are having like prizes and whatever, we can encourage people to relax and join us. We're also trying to get together a xenophobia event, specifically focusing on the Asian hate that's very prevalent today. And we're hoping to have some sort of panel-like event to first educate the event attenders and then have some sort of conversational portion to have the difficult dialogue and like bring awareness, start difficult conversations. So if anyone has any suggestions, please do not hesitate to reach out, offer comments, questions, and feedback. We're also looking to partner with some orgs about for Sexual Awareness Week, but we're still in the planning phase for that portion. I think Ting brought this up earlier, but we are encouraging all our MHC members to write a blog post detailing about something about either the mental health experience or some sort of advice, because we want students to see that like other students also struggle and there's no shame in getting help or taking a day off. I guess that concludes a little bit about me and my presentation.
Thank you so much. I'm now going to open it up to a 10-minute Q&A session for any questions for Ms. Wei. So if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand in the chat and I will call on you. Senator Zhang.
Hi, Hope. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, there was an echo. It's really nice to see you. I remember your involvement and your contributions to the mental health committee from last semester. And also I just want to say thank you for sharing with us your personal experience and being vulnerable. I was wondering, you know, in your years of experience, what do you think is the most important thing to keep in mind, or what do you wish students knew about, I guess, mental health resources here at BU that you think that they don't know about?
I think there's a lot of things that a lot of students don't know. And one is like how to ask for help, but mostly I think that there are a lot of resources, just like because we're in like a biomedical hub, like there are a lot of organizations both on and off campus that offer both like free resources, and then there's also like ways to get therapists and stuff. And obviously it is very, very difficult to navigate the BU student health service system. And the mental health committee right now, we're like working to get like a more cohesive list of resources and something to be like a how-to plan to have like navigate the insurance, the finding a proper therapist if you need one, or just like getting access to mental health resources regardless of whether you have a mental health illness or not. I hope that answers the question.
It did, thank you.
Any additional questions? Senator Balboa.
I was just wondering what organizations we're planning to work with.
Is there like a specific event you're talking about, or just in general?
Just in general, like who you're planning on partnering with.
We've done a lot of partnerships in the past. I don't know if you know, but the Mental Health Committee has been having mental health fairs where we partner with a bunch of different organizations throughout the Boston community, with both like student groups on campus, like 16K, Active Minds, just to name a few. And then we've also partnered with SHS, like I mentioned, the Wellbeing Project, Wellness and Prevention, and we've also reached out to Boston orgs like NAMI and the Trevor Project, as well as many others. I hope that also answers your question.
Any additional questions? Going once, going twice. All right, and with that, I will elapse the Q&A time and open the floor to any points or motions. Senator Majorowitz.
I motion to go into voting procedure for the co-chair confirmation of Hope Way.
Second.
All right, so the motion on the floor is to move into voting procedure for the confirmation of Hope Way. As you all know, we're looking for a 2/3 to move into voting procedure. Please raise your hands in the chat if you wish to vote in the affirmative. There we go. Mr. Vice Chair, can you confirm a supermajority?
I can confirm a supermajority.
All right, and to lower everyone's hands. And again, open the floor to any points or motions. Senator Majorowitz.
Motion to go into voting procedure to confirm.
Sorry,
We
Savannah.
are
Thank you,
in voting
Jess.
procedure.
Oh, then motion to confirm the. I
Motion to
forgot.
vote.
Motion to vote for Hope Way.
All right, the
And the
motion
chair
on
help
the
me out,
floor.
please.
The motion on
Again.
the floor is to vote to confirm Hope Way. I hear a second. We are looking for a simple majority now to confirm or vote to confirm. There we go. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a simple majority?
I have a simple majority.
All right, I'll lower everyone's hands. Mr. Vice Chair, if you could please send out the link in the Slack channel. Anyone who does not have access to Slack or is having issues, please private message me and I will send the link to you.
The link for the voting form is in the Slack now.
Right, give you guys a minute and 15 seconds from here.
Vinny, I don't know if anyone else is having this issue, but it's telling me I need permission to open it. It might just be a me thing. I'm going to keep trying.
Did you sign in with a BU email?
No, like I'm trying it. I opened it accidentally on my non-BU email and then I tried it on my BU email and it's like just telling me that I can't even view it.
You might have to quit your browser or close out your browser completely and then reopen it up that way.
Okay.
If
Thank
that
you.
doesn't work, just private message me your vote and I'll make a note of it. Give it 30 more seconds. All right, and with that, I'm going to close the voting form. And with 38 votes in the affirmative, congratulations, Ms. Wei, you are confirmed as co-chair of the MHC.
Thank you. Pew, pew, pew.
All right, so moving on to our final point of the agenda is the amendment to Article 4, Section 2 of the Student Government Constitution. And presenting today, we have Ms. Noelle Wojciechowski and Ms. Francesca Davy Falcone. So whenever you guys are ready, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes to present, followed by a 10-minute Q&A afterwards.
All right, you did very well with our last names. They're quite
Awesome.
a mouthful. But so Noelle and I will be presenting an amendment to Article 4, Section 2 of the Student Government Constitution. So I think we can go ahead and go to the next slide. So why introduce this amendment? At the moment, there is no existing language in the StuGov Constitution that delineates what constitutes a college. There is just a clause that says every college is appointed a Senate seat according to their population, but there's nothing that actually tells you what constitutes a college.
And so we believe that this would very much help clarify the point. You can go ahead, go forward. Clarify the point and make sure there is no confusion going forward. And so our definition that we motion to put into the Constitution is a college shall henceforth be defined as any undergraduate unit at BU that 1, admits students through a distinct admissions process, and 2, has its own specified curriculum and program requirements.
All right, and we're good for the next slide. So caveats, obviously overrepresentation is always a concern. And so to address this, we've included a clause that says a senator who is a member of 2 or more colleges as defined by the language above may only serve to represent one of their institutions. So senators can only hold 1 seat in 1 college. And you're good to go to the next slide.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, so.
All right, so if anyone has any questions for the presenters, Ms. Wojciechowski and Ms. Davy Falcone, please raise your hand and I will call on you. We have 10 minutes starting now. Senator Casas.
I have a question based on your double representation slide. So that's not technically what that means within the Constitution. So what happens when Senate seats are divided is that they take each college's population and they give us a percentage of them. And so double representation within the Constitution is like students that are counted in like 2 different spaces or whatever. That's why we don't have Greek Council in Senate anymore. Kind of like 1 student kind of thing. So can you kind of clarify on that a little bit more? Yeah, I understand your point, but like I don't think it's hitting to the same thing that maybe I'm thinking of in the Constitution.
Sure. I'll go first and then I'll let Noelle speak because we're kind of teaming up on this. But I think what we were referring to specifically would be students that I guess would be enrolled in more than 1 college. So right now that's already a possibility. You could be, I don't know, in Shaw in another college or in both COM and CAS. And so I guess what we wanted to address was the concern that maybe you would be overrepresenting. So I guess we would officially say you can only serve in 1 capacity. So I would say, for example, if I was in CAS and COM, I would say, hey, I'm serving in capacity for CAS. And then I'll let Noelle speak as well.
No, that was pretty much what I would say as
Okay.
well.
Can I respond to that?
Yes, go ahead.
And maybe with the question with judicial. So a senator at this moment can't represent two colleges at once or a college and a party at once, because you're only allowed one seat at a time. We don't have any like hybrid senators that are representing Questrom and, you know, like COM or something like that. Like you hold one seat for one Senate year at a time. So I'm still like not completely clear on this. And once again, Judicial can clarify on this all they need to, or Vinny, or, you know, someone.
I think that the point that we are hoping to get across is more as of right now in the Constitution, there's nothing that says, as far as we have gone through it, that you could, we're not talking about necessarily hybrid senators. We're talking about the possibility if someone wanted to run for 2 Senate seats because they're like, oh, well, I'm in these 2 colleges as defined by the first part of the definition. And that's kind of what we're addressing here specifically.
Mr. President.
Yeah, my question is, so who does this, if you can go to the part 1 part, Vinny, if possible. Yeah. So who does this define as? I haven't checked, you know, the admissions process. I know KHC and I assume ROTC is included in this as well. What other programs, and maybe Judicial knows this as well, what other programs are involved in this, you know, caveat in this part?
So that's pretty much it. Every college that is currently represented plus Killeshond. So
Right,
yes.
because you would have to meet both distinctions. So not only would you have to have a separate admissions process, you also have to have your own specified program and requirements. So right now, that would apply to every college at BU.
Can I clarify with the question? Vinny, is that possible? Or no?
Yes, go right ahead.
So do things like Questrom Honors and the CAS core curriculum, does that count as this?
That's a great question. At the moment, they would not. What this is doing, I think, is leaving the door open for any colleges that would be established later on, but they would have to meet all of these requirements. So at the moment, I don't believe that they do, in so much as, you know, the distinct admissions process within BU. So when you apply to BU, you would have to apply and be admitted to a specific school. Whereas you would already, I believe you don't apply to core upon applying to BU. So that's something you would pursue later on once you're already admitted within a college at BU. So I think that let me know if I can clarify any further.
Yeah, I think if there's anybody from Judicial can clarify this as well, who falls into this mark? That's what I'm just curious about.
Sure. Hi, Christian Van Leer, Deputy Chief Justice. So granted, a lot of this, since it is not already written into our Constitution.
Point of inquiry. I apologize from bottom of my heart for interrupting you, bottom of my heart. But I just need to understand if, as you're speaking now, is this an official statement or is this, because we've run into that problem before. I just need to know, is this an official judicial statement?
As of now, no, because it hasn't been requested as an official statement. More along the lines, this is me speaking as our Deputy Chief Justice and my initial interpretation. So you can hold that as binding towards me. However, it's not binding towards the Constitution, nor should it impact whether or not this is viewed as constitutional or constitutional, more along the lines of providing you all clarification on an interpretation of how this is currently written.
Okay.
Thank you, Evan, for making sure that I keep my honesty here. So yeah, Oliver, or President Oliver, you raise a good point there. As it's written, and this is, again, purely off of Christian Van Leer reading this, I personally believe that programs like Questrom Honors, ROTC would be able to fit in under the language as is. Specifically, I know the writing under point 1, or no, excuse me, actually both points. So point 1 and point 2 are kind of alluding to the fact that you apply to this when you apply to BU. However, that isn't currently written as is. So for example, you can apply, or rather, yeah, You can apply to be in Questers Honors college or program rather. They do have a specified curriculum and requirements to be in that program. So as it's currently written, you would have to go through an admission process of being admitted into that college or into that specific program, and then go through their specified curriculum as well as their program requirements. As well as ROTC, I think Oliver, you mentioned that earlier as well. That is something that you can apply to off-rip when you're applying to BU as well. So something that falls along under the college admissions process of, is this program ROTC something that you're looking towards joining, or would you like to be considered for applicate or admission into ROTC prior to coming into BU within your first year? Is something that would also fall under this language written as is.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to give the floor now to Senator Toplinski.
Hi. So I have a question. From my understanding from this document, I actually thought that core would be considered, not question core. I'm talking about CAS core, because you do apply, which meets the first requirement. And then the second part is it has its own specified curriculum. So I just would like your interpretation of that.
Sure. I mean, it's absolutely great that we're hearing feedback on this, and I think it would be very easy to rework the language so that it is more clear, because I'm noticing there is some confusion there. We did mean admissions process as in admissions process when you apply to BU, so not when you are already at BU. And by specified curriculum and program requirements, I think that has more to do with what will eventually appear on your diploma. So if your degree is jointly conferred, it wouldn't be jointly conferred by core, for example. So it's good to know, though, that there is confusion there. But I think that this is helpful because we could definitely, amend the language slightly. But as we were thinking of it, core would not currently apply.
Senator Evans.
Hi, yeah, I was just going to bring up the same concerns about the defining a college. I think core is a good example. I think the 7-year med program is also a good example. The individual majors within CFA are also good examples of how one could work this definition to fit all of those things. So I'm in favor of either tabling this question until a more succinct definition is made and we can kind of come to a consensus on that. And then also I just wanted to throw out that at-large parties are a thing. And I think if somebody was concerned maybe that their specific program wasn't being well represented in Senate, that an at-large party is what that's made for.
I would like to, pardon me, I thought you were finished speaking. But I would like to just say that, I think that is a good point. I think, however, when we're referring to permanent institutions at BU, an at-large party doesn't really kind of capture fully the fact that something is a permanent institution. It's not guaranteed representation. And you have to keep applying each year, which again, for something that is a permanent institution at BU, it kind of just doesn't really make too much sense. So.
All right, and with that, the Q&A time has elapsed. I'm going to lower everyone's hands and open the floor to any points or, motions. Senator Casas.
Motion to move into discussion period for 7 minutes with a cap of 30 seconds for each speaker.
Second.
Okay, can you repeat that again, please? 7 minutes for a cap of how much?
30 seconds.
Okay, 7 minutes.
Speed debate round.
Speed debate, all right, 30 seconds each. So the motion on the floor is to move into a 7-minute discussion period with 30 seconds allowed for each speaker. We are looking for a 2/3, that has been seconded, so we are looking for a 2/3 vote on this motion. Please raise your hands in the chat if you're wishing to vote in the affirmative. Mr. Vice Chair, do you confirm 26?
Yes, I do.
All right, so with that, vote fails. Lower everyone's hands.
Mr. Chairman, there was a supermajority. But people put their hands back down, so I don't know.
I will give it 10 more seconds. After that, the vote's final. Do you have 30?
I have 30.
All right, so with that, the motion passes. We are going to go into a 7-minute discussion period with 30 seconds allowed to each speaker. Senator Casas, do you reserve first right to speak?
I do.
All right, so whenever you are ready, the floor is yours and the time will start.
Okay, so I don't want to be nitpicky or aggressive about this at all. I understand where the points are coming from, but as it stands now, I don't see a college within this definition. I see a college existing within its own ecosystem, which CORE, Kilachon, ROTC, any of the other honors 7 med programs don't exist within right now. As for double representation, it doesn't mean senators holding 2 seats at once. It means the counting of people and the percentages that Senate chairs are based off of. And so because of that definition too,
30
I
seconds
think
has
it's also
elapsed.
dangerous. Speed round.
Senator Dye.
This is just a POI. Are amendments in order this meeting, or would we have to wait until the next meeting?
Constitutional amendments have a 1-week waiting period unless someone motions to lower the proposal, which would require the unanimous approval of the Senate. So most likely, no, we will not be voting on this today, but it is technically a possibility.
Oh, I meant amending the text of the amendment. Not
Oh, amending the text of the amendment. Yes, that is in order today. If that was something or you also chose to do. Right, Senator Balboa.
I was just wondering if someone were to get chosen as a senator, but then they later drop from that college, would they still continue to represent them?
Are we allowed to answer?
Are we allowed to Yeah, I'll give you guys 20 seconds to
So
respond to that.
So we have 30 seconds, correct?
But the time that Senator Balboa had, I'm going to give you guys like 20 seconds just so we keep everything in 30-second increments. Unless
Okay.
you want the full, unless you really want the full 30 seconds.
That's okay. Pretty much just to Senator Balboa's point, the way that the Kilachon Honors College government works right now, I'm sure that is what you're getting at by dropping a college. So if you are running for K-Lab, you are committing to, one of the commitments is that you will not drop, and it's like in our bylaws. So
Yeah, senators will not senators.
20 seconds has elapsed.
Okay. I'll get you
Senator
next time.
Teplensky.
Hi. So I have a lot of opinions and not for 30 seconds. I put in the chat, I gave to Vinny a when to meet. Senators need to meet to discuss this topic. This will change how Senate works, and it is not a 1-week conversation. Please, please, please fill it out. I'm not asking for 20 hours of your life. I'm asking for 1 hour. This needs to be talked about because it is a very in-depth topic. I have more to say, but I'll wait for it next time. Thank you.
30 seconds has elapsed. Is there anyone else who wishes to bring up a point, Mr. President?
I agree with Evan. I think this is a more developed conversation that can't be just said in 30-second increments. So I would agree, I would be happy to join that when to meet as well.
Senator Teplensky.
Yes, one more thing. But I know Noel and Francesca, I think, were before me. I'll go after.
I would just also like to say that we, both Francesca and I, as well as our director, Professor Carrie Preston, are very willing to meet with anyone, any student governments. I know we've already met with some people from CAS, but we would be willing to meet with anybody. And we will put our emails as well as the K-Lab email in the chat. So.
Yep, I was going to say the same thing. And to add to that, if you were confused on how the process works, K-Lab reps are elected for basically a term, so 2 semesters. So if you are running and you are elected, you're committing to staying in KHC and serving as a rep for at least that term.
Senator Teplensky.
I'm going to propose a very radical idea that is going to, not 30 seconds worth, but I think because I am a firm believer that everyone should be represented. And I do think Killishawn needs to be represented. I think that Senate needs to break into two, Senate and House of Reps. Senate would be the Stu Gov's representation, and House of Reps would be those at-large parties like Killishawn, like the John Michael Party. And that way we are still enabling that representation. So just think that over. I will go more in depth, but again, it is a much longer
30 seconds has elapsed. Ms. Davy Falcone, do you have an additional point you want to bring up?
I do, and I'll be quick because I know we're
Okay.
close on time. But I think that everyone has hyped this up quite a bit. I do not think it would change Senate radically. The point of the matter is KHC is a college. It's actually our 10th year anniversary. And so all we're asking for is the same representation that's allocated to every other college within BU.
Ms. Wojciechowski.
Yeah, no, we are running short on time, but I would also like to add to that, student government is an organization that brings together colleges from across the university and is in essence interdisciplinary and works through challenges together as interdisciplinary organization. Killishawn would be more than willing and happy to bring our experience in this way. And I think that we would, in fact, be a valuable addition to the team as a college whose primary definition is to solve global challenges from interdisciplinary perspectives. So
30 seconds has elapsed. Senator Zhang.
I think that what I would love to see, because this KHC representation question has been in play for like my entirety of being in StuGov, I'd love to see some sort of, if we could do some sort of survey of what KHC students would mostly prefer, and something that's permanent, something. A solution that I was thinking of is having every college student government have a KHC specific representative. But at the same time, I'm not a KHC student, so I'm
30 seconds has
just trying to help
elapsed.
out.
Senator Noel.
Benny, before I start, can you give me like a little emoji as like a 10-second warning so I don't go over my time? I just don't want to be rude.
Okay, I'm gonna have 10 ready in the chat, and when I send that, you got 10.
Thanks. I really firmly agree that Killishawn should have some sort of representation. I just think that this specific amendment doesn't necessarily make sense with that. I don't think it's fair to frame it as like wanting them to have representation versus not. I think that just like this definition doesn't necessarily work because there's too many loopholes. And so I definitely agree with Evan, and that I think this should be a matter that is discussed more extensively outside of a space that has such a limited time commitment.
Senator Hagee, last point.
I just want to kind of point out that I think we're all jumping ahead of ourselves a little bit because all this amendment is talking about is defining a college. We haven't even gotten to the what KHC representation would look like question yet. I think we should focus on the issues with the language in this amendment, which I recognize that it's a little bit vague, and so that we have some, adjustments to make to it. So I think we should do that and then come back to the larger question later,
right.
For efficiency's sake.
Thank you. And with that, discussion time has elapsed. I'm going to lower everyone's hands and then open the floor again to any points or motions. Senator Hagee. Okay. Does anyone who wishes to bring up a point or motion right now? Senator Zhang.
Motion to table this amendment. Or is it the
motion-
discussion? Sorry.
No, it's motion to, well, amendment are you, or what motion are you trying to?
I'd like to table this discussion until next week. Maybe we can have some time to work through a more accurate and I think safe definition of college.
Okay, well, we already have to wait 1 week anyway, constitutional amendment. So if you still want to hold it, and also technically the motion is postponed. Postponing is when you wish to move a topic to a later meeting date. Tabling is when you wish to reorder the agenda within the same meeting.
Thank you, Vinny. Love you. Motion to postpone this amendment.
Until next week?
Until next week.
All right, so the motion on the floor right now is a motion to postpone the consideration of amendment to Article 4, Section 2 of the Student Government Constitution until the next meeting. Do I hear a second on this?
Second.
All right, so with that, we do have a second, and we are looking, well, in order for this motion to pass, I'm looking for a simple majority vote. All right, Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a simple majority?
I have a simple majority.
All right, so with that, this amendment bill is postponed until next week. No further discussion on it can be had in this meeting, but as some of you have spoken, please know you're more than free to speak about this outside of Senate if you so choose. All right. Open forum. So if anyone has anything you wish to bring up today, as always, feel free to raise your hand and I will call on you. Senator Toplensky.
Yes, I'm going to just continue saying it until it happens. I would like Dean B to our advisor to come to our meetings. I don't think I'm being rude. I think I'm just being a student wanting my dean of students, like for the club, to just show up. We could have so many asking and questions being answered if this individual showed up. I would love if we could have a straw poll just to see how many senators agree with me, because it's getting frustrating and it's getting to a point where I want us to look for a different advisor. I'm being serious about this topic because it's frustrating when your advisor doesn't show up to your own meetings.
Any additional points that people wish to bring up in open forum or on the topic that Senator Toplensky just brought up? Senator Guan.
Just wanted to add on to Evan's I guess topic just then.
Rant.
I really I really agree with that. I definitely feel that an advisor of the Hedgehog Club should show up every now and then. It doesn't have to be every meeting, but for student government, possibly every meeting. I will say, like in the past, he does tend to defer questions. He says that's not my department, etc. But in case that he ever sees this VOD or if anybody decides to bring it up to him personally, he can still advise, not necessarily approve or like cause any action. He can just still advise because that's what his job is, being an advisor. I just wanted to tag that on.
Senator Aracena.
I would like to put my own 2 cents here because I do think it should be said that even though I don't think that it's necessary that he show up to every meeting, I do think it is a problem that we've asked him to come so often and he still hasn't shown up because he says he's 1 phone call away. But when we ask him to come to a meeting, any meeting, just soon, please, and he's nowhere to be found, that is a point of concern.
Mr. President.
Yeah, I don't disagree or agree on either side. Just, a neutral opinion here. Dean B doesn't show up to any of the meetings that we have as an e-board, cabinet, judicial, SEC, Senate, any committee, unless requested for a certain reason. Having him come in and give a welcoming speech, he's happy to do, but there should be a point, if you're requesting him to come in, the reason why he probably hasn't shown up is because we haven't asked him something specific. So if the topic is, let's just say COVID procedures, then he can defer us to the right person, like Hannah Landsberg from contact tracing. I completely understand the concern with it. Evan, I understand, fellow other senators, I understand you want him to show up as an advisor. Absolutely. I understand that. But if we can have a more focused conversation, I just think it's more productive because I don't want to bring him here and I don't think anybody wants to bring him here to waste anybody's time. So if you guys have a certain topic, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to relay the message, or anybody's happy to relay the message too.
Senator Toplensky.
Starting with Oliver, I love you. I am sick and tired of that excuse. We don't need a reason for our advisor to accept an invitation to come to a club that he's the advisor for. That I'm just frustrated with. For ignoring a senator's perspective, ignoring an executive board, judicial board perspective. From a student's perspective, he is the closest, besides Dean Elmore, person who we can talk to about issues that students are facing. So if it's just a simple coming and saying, oh, last week you talked about the environmental programs. Yes, I talked to SAO and SAO would love to push out information about that. Something simple like that. I don't need him to make official statements all the time. When we were in person, he was there every week. And it just was so nice to see an advisor care about the work that we were doing. And from a PR perspective, it showed that BU cared at a bare minimum. Now it's showing that BU does not care at anything of what the students are saying. We are live on YouTube. He could be watching this live. Like, it's so easy. So that whole, like, he's one phone call away. He's one phone call away, but he's not one Zoom call away, apparently. That is what I'm learning from this whole COVID era. So just to wrap up, I think that maybe next topic, if he shows up next week, we should talk about, is something going on in his personal life? Is that the reason? Because that is a valid concern, or that is a valid reason for not showing up. And I will totally respect that. But I don't know. I'm frustrated because I have other advisors in other clubs who are just professors who are much more engaging and much more wanting to help students. So, I mean, if anyone wants to help me start looking for another advisor, I would love to do that. And I would love to talk to Judicial about that process.
I'm going to, Senator Balboa and Zhang, do you both have comments on this topic?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you two the last word on this, but after that, I'm going to ask that, just because this discussion is going long, that we make this a little more formal discussion, just so we can have limits on this. So Senator Balboa, you first.
I was just wondering what President Poore was considering a focused discussion. Like, would it have to be specifically about COVID, or why would he need that specifically?
No, when I meant that, I said, you know, I rather give him a topic prior that he can come and speak to, so he can have all the resources and all the information needed, efficient and efficient conversation. Because the last thing we want is him to come and say, I don't have the answers to that, or I'm not the right person for that. So that's what I meant. Did that help clarify?
Senator Zhang.
I think that this is an important conversation to be had, and I'm glad we're having it, because this isn't a this year thing. And I understand the value of Dean Badalino's time. I think it's clear that we need some administration here, because that would help our processes a lot more. It would help us to, like, when we're having discussion, they could easily say, oh, this is the university's official stance, or you can talk to this person, or actually we already have that in place. So I think having some administration at Senate meetings, because the work that we do here is, like, the discussions, even if they're not focused, are still important. So I think that perhaps maybe I understand not wanting Dean Bad, like, not wanting to waste his time, or like not even that narrative, but just his response of, like, that's not my department, or that's not my jurisdiction. Personally, I think that's like a personal issue, like a personal, it doesn't matter if it's not his department. He should be able to direct us to whoever that department is. And so I think more so, and maybe Oliver, to help facilitate this conversation, maybe we can set up some sort of, like, at least I feel like we need Dean B to know that we feel some type of way, and he should hear us out, because we are doing this job for free and he is paid to be our advisor.
I ask a question, Vinny, or no? Would you rather, considering just time constraints on Senate, we can do some straw poll here. Would you rather have a time to speak with him outside? Like if, let's just say, scheduling time so they could be more of a conversation rather than a 5-minute Q&A session. I'm just looking for preference too.
No straw polls are allowed, sadly, but I know some people wish to give.
Wrong term, my bad.
Senator Toplensky, do you want to give a quick opinion on that?
Yes, I would like it to be recorded, because if I'm being recorded, I would like his answers to be recorded. That's how I feel. I don't know how other people feel, and I'm sure people will let you know. I think an honest conversation first, sure. But the thing is, this isn't the first time we're asking. This is probably the 3rd week I've asked for him to show up. Like, things need to change, and I'm demanding now. You know, it's like the tone in me is changing because I'm frustrated. And I'm sure there's other people, not just me.
All right, and with that, I am going to close further discussion on this topic unless someone wishes to motion to move into a discussion period. So seeing no hands up right now, I'm going to call on Mr. Vice Chair Shah. Mr. Vice Chair Shashi Shah, there we go.
Thanks, Vinny. So yeah, like I had mentioned earlier after Oliver's address, the town hall that Daniel and I talked about last week is going to be pushed. And the reason for this is kind of twofold. One is it fits really well into getting the energy for the university up during the voting period. And the second is we want to get a chance to really advertise this across the entire university so that we can get any student that wants to come and give their feedback to Senate. I mean, we've seen just now throughout this entire meeting that we do a lot of important work and have a lot of important discussions. And it's really important that we understand what the entire student body is thinking, not just snapshots from the organizations that we're in. And so we want to make sure that it's really accessible and we give enough forewarning to anybody that wants to come. So I'll send out more information in the Slack as well as an email about this either later tonight or tomorrow. But again, any senator that wants to come to the town hall, it will be the same time, 7 to 8 p.m. Feel free to sign up. SEC has a link that for the air meet for that. We're really hoping for this to be a productive conversation and learn about a lot of different topics, learn about more topics that we can attack through Senate. So yeah, thanks.
Senator Toplensky.
Yep, so different topic, but going back to what I was saying earlier, I'm going to send the when to meet one more time. Only 10 senators have responded. I would love to see at least 20. I know that might be a lot to ask for from a student government, but I think it's very important and it's a great topic and conversation. Yeah, that's everything.
Any additional points that people wish to bring up during open forum today? Senator Aracena.
Yeah, this is not a very serious point, but I would like everyone to remind themselves and their friends that during the wellness days to at least take a little bit of time for themselves. I know it's very easy to just be like, I have this free day. I can finally catch up on all those lecture videos I've been missing and whatnot. But like, we all need a breath, you know? So even if you do watch some videos, which you should, because we all should be studying a little bit, but make sure you set a decent amount of time for yourself, you know? Some relaxation and recovery is important for everybody.
Yes, please, everyone, get some rest this Thursday. You all have earned it at this point. We all have. Senator Toplensky.
Yeah, as the senator who presented and with Miss Senator Majarowicz, don't do homework. That's not what it's for. Don't do homework. Don't study. It's a mental break. Senator Aracena, no homework at all on Thursday. And if anyone contact the dean of students if you know that someone is assigning homework on that day. That's not right. That's not why we pushed for it. That's not the goal. The goal is for people to mentally relax, get away from their computer, and just live life and really take a mental break.
Standard time.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right, everyone raise your hands in the chat. Looking for a 2/3 supermajority here. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority?
I do have a supermajority.
All right, and with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Have a great night. Enjoy the Wellness Day. Be well, stay safe, and I will see you.